You're listening to I'm So Vain with Josh Carmichael, only on LA Talk Radio.
Hey, welcome. It's Josh Carmichael. It's I'm So Vain show here on LA Talk Radio. Tuesday, 11 a.m. Here we are. We have a pretty cool show for you today. A very dear friend of mine and a longtime friend and very accomplished actress and coach. So we'll get to that in just a second. Holidays are coming up. We have Thanksgiving right around the corner. So happy pre-Thanksgiving to everyone. Hopefully you guys are all with your families and having fun and enjoying, and shout out to those people in Colorado. My sister lives out there, so we know they're getting a nasty snowstorm right now. So hopefully everyone's safe and buckled up and staying warm out there. Good time for you to order my book, The Process Code, Unlocking Your Past to Live Your Future. It's it's a kind of a self-help, self-motivational book that I think it'll really change your life. So good time to do that over the holiday season. It's a quick read, and it will stay with you for a very long time. I guarantee that. So check that out, The Process Code, on Amazon.com. You can also watch us here if you want to see any past shows. We're on YouTube. I'm So Vain, youtube.com/C/I'm So Vain. Check us out there as well. I'm So Vain Show on Facebook, and at I'm So Vain Show on Instagram, or The Real Josh Carmichael. Follow us, like us, please respond, please, ask questions, get involved. We'd love that. And let's get on with it. So here we are. My guest today is like I said, is a very dear friend and a really cool actress. We will talk about this when she comes on. But Keli Daniels. Keli is an actress, and she coaches, and she's an entrepreneur, and she has like a clothing blog and clothing line, and we'll get it. You'll get to know more about her in a minute. But really incredible woman, incredible person, very motivational. She helps a lot of people and coaches a lot of new people coming into the business. And we'll talk about that and her success with that. But come on in, Keli. Let's do it. Keli Daniels, everyone. Here we go.
Hey there.
Welcome.
It sounded, hello. Hi. It sounded like you were riffing, like I was parking my car, like, yeah, and she's, can you imagine me not being here?
Oh, yeah.
I'm my guest today.
I did that once for like 15 minutes, so.
Well, I wasn't late.
I could talk. No, you're very early.
Late.
Thank you.
Can I do this? Is that bad?
You can what?
Can I have to watch it, right?
What? No.
Right?
It's
pretty multi.
It's common omni, but you can kick back here and just
really?
get a little more volume. Yeah.
Okay.
Just
all
pick
right.
it up a little bit. You don't have to bury yourself in a mic. It's
all
not,
right. And
I
didn't wear a hat like you.
Well, you normally wear hats?
No.
No,
I like hats. I do like hats.
You do like it?
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to be like me.
I guess not.
Nobody wants to do that.
But you got
welcome,
a good hat.
welcome. It's finally glad to see you and be here. And it's been a long time coming. We've had you booked for a couple months, I think.
Yeah,
so.
I even showed up a few weeks
ago. Yeah, Keli showed up on. Well, it was a mix-up with.
I was early.
She was so excited to be on the show. She showed up 3 weeks early.
Yeah.
And what are you doing for Thanksgiving? Do you guys have a big deal?
Hosting. We always host at our house. I don't go back home. Usually don't go back home for Thanksgiving. It's not a big enough break.
Right.
And we have a very long table, and we are just the house. So we are the hosting house.
So you have a lot of people? Like
this year, not as many. Like a couple families are sort of out of town or doing things, but normally we're.
Is it mostly like an eclectic bunch, or is it friends and family, or just
no,
friends?
It's really
mostly.
Occasionally there'll be a family member that'll be in, but it's normally just a big Friendsgiving.
It's the I call it the orphan family.
Kind of,
from
yeah,
LA, the LA family.
Yeah, and people with kids.
Yeah.
So there's always the kids'
a lot of
table.
kids. Yeah.
that nobody wants to sit at.
Yeah.
You know?
No,
Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the kids' table?
And I remember being sat at the kids' table a few times, and I felt
As an
so
adult,
bad. Yeah,
or as a
when my
kid?
kids were really young, I'd be
well,
like,
you're
there'd
stuck.
be no. I think they forgot that I was coming.
Yeah. Oh,
Because I always went later, like.
Yeah.
Michelle, my ex, would go early, and
Yeah.
with the boys, and I would show up, and it was at her family house.
Oh,
and I remember
wow.
they'd be like, "You can sit at the kids' table."
Yeah.
Like the first year, and I'm like, "Really?"
Well, sometimes the kids' table is not so
But
bad.
I'm kind of a
It's-
kid, so I kind
Yeah.
of fit in.
And
so
I
it
like
was,
the
it was fun.
kids.
I made them all laugh, so
Sure
I
you
guess
did.
that was good.
And with your impressions?
Oh yeah, my impressions. Yeah, I probably did some like Scooby Doo or some voices back then for the little kids. But
Christopher Walken.
oh, I know that's your
A little bit
favorite.
of that, yeah. Yeah.
I remember I used to call you and go,
Yeah.
your
Leave me
weekly call.
messages.
Hey, no, Kelly.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you are.
Good
but
talent of yours.
oh yeah, my hidden. Yeah, I did a lot with that one. It's paying off
Took
really
you
well.
far.
No, it's just I just did it for fun. I never did it for a stand up or never nothing.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
good because you're good at it. I
Yeah.
didn't know you wrote a book. So sorry I'm like late to
I've
that
written
party.
several books, but this one is I'm
know
really
it.
proud of this one. It's exciting and it's something that's. Thank you for saying that, but it was something that was kind of dear to me. I just thought of it like 5 years ago, and it was just like going through because I came from an abusive childhood and an
Oh.
abusive past that I had to overcome that. I had no self-esteem as a kid and all that. So to overcome that, I had to deal with, I had to
Wow.
figure it out. So when I came to LA, I got into, probably like all of us, we got in our 20s. I was in like every like spiritual group and guru group and forum and all these things, trying to figure out how to deal with my low self-esteem, my past. And thankfully, I faked it because I was a good-looking younger man. So everybody like kind of bought my look, and
Wow.
I was making money off of doing acting and
Yeah.
modeling and stuff. And it gave me time, it gave me money to work on myself because I was super insecure.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you hit
So-
it well.
I hit it very
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Yeah. Most people don't think that. They think,
Yeah.
oh, Josh is like this, this confident. I am now. I'm confident
Yeah.
now, but I wasn't. I faked it. I faked it a lot, and I put it into the work. So
Yeah.
all my focus was acting, and
And you also
which-
taught yourself things. Like you could do different things.
Yeah, well, that was kind of growing up on the farm. I had to learn. I learned a lot of trades and a lot of
Yeah.
skills because, like, we build our own house. I built my own go-kart. That
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Just from the time I was 10 years old.
But nobody does that anymore. I
No.
don't know if your boys do.
No.
But there's no shop class.
It's a lost
Oh,
art
it's
now.
sad.
Yeah.
It's really sad. I was trying to convince my son to go to stage crew.
That
just
would be good. Yeah,
but
because you learn at least some
well, you-
construction skills.
You have tools. You have to saw and
Is he interested in that at all?
no.
No. Ethan,
No.
Ethan, my youngest, I've had him in my. I don't at the moment, but I had a metal shop for many years. And
Ironworks.
yeah,
But
Ironworks.
still?
Yeah, White Bison Ironworks is a company I have as well. So
Yeah,
I still do a lot of fabricating and stuff, but I do it out of somebody else's house or shop. And I had a shop, so I got Ethan in there several times. You know what? He was really good at it, and he
Wow.
picked it up right away. So he has a natural skill for it, but he has no interest.
No, see, and when I say my son doesn't have interest, he doesn't have interest in being in a like an organized group.
Oh,
But
right.
you know what I mean? Maybe that's a high school thing where
Yeah.
you're like, well, who do you?
How old is
what-
he now?
He's 16.
16,
He's
so-
almost 17.
Wow. So he's a junior in high school?
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
But I think he'd have he'd adapt very well to it. But and Paul is very Paul can fix anything.
Can do anything,
and-
right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's just a good. Paul was a Boy Scout though.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Back on the
He
East
learned it- he
Coast.
learned it-
yeah.
That's
like
funny.
I don't think he was an
Boy
Eagle
Scouts.
Scout, but
He
I
got,
think
he got up there though.
well, you learn everything. You're,
Yeah,
you
you do.
he's never without like a Swiss Army knife, and he can fix my jewelry. He can do.
Can he start a fire with like a couple rocks?
Well, I don't know, Paul.
Yeah, I
can
don't know
you?
about that. They make lighters for that, Josh.
Yeah.
They have-
But I don't know. I think it's good to make things.
I
made
do too, and
things
I
when I was young.
I had Ethan make his mother a Mother's Day present like 3 years ago, and she goes when she got it, she goes, "Did you do this?" And I go, "No, I have pictures or video." She's like, "No, you did most of it." And I go, "Well, I helped him, but she didn't think Ethan could do it." And he did. It was very sweet. He made her like a candle holder, and I showed him how to do it.
Good that you documented it for her.
Yeah, and I said, well, I knew I had
she
to have
could-
proof so she
yeah.
wouldn't believe it.
Exactly.
Because, you know,
Exactly.
he's normally not too active in real life because it's the gaming world that's taken over.
That's another thing. Yeah, no, my son he plays instruments, and he plays saxophone, and he's a drummer, and he's recently into boxing. I mean, really recently. There's one of those. We have it outside. But
you have a heavy bag?
And gloves. You got these really cute, super rare.
Wait, did you just say really cute gloves?
Yeah, he probably would like that.
I don't think
they are.
I don't think
Josh,
that's
they're
something
really
you
cute.
want to say.
But
Yeah.
in my
wow,
like,
those are really cute gloves, son. You don't want to say that to
They
him.
appeal to my fashion sense. They're called Juicies. And
Oh.
there's that cool like boxing store on Melrose called Super Rare.
Oh, right.
And they're multicolored, and then they're
Oh,
striped
wow.
on the
Oh,
inside.
they sound cute.
Sorry, Zoot.
I don't think I had Everlast gloves when I grew up, and we never called them cute.
Yeah, I don't know. They're cute now. They're sort of cute, you guys. So
Well,
I guess
know.
that's a
I don't-
side.
I don't think you want to tell him that.
But he's self.
And your daughter's very creative too. She's like
Yes.
a dancer and
And a
right?
singer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, wow. Now,
Yeah,
where's she now?
she's in L.A. She's
in
in. She never wants me to say where she lives.
Yeah, right.
Her roommate has a podcast that I've
Okay.
been on. Like I'm the roommate's mom podcast. But so they never disclose their location. So
Yeah.
I'll just say she's like
She's in L.A.
Silver Lake, Hollywood.
Somewhere in. Yeah. She's
Somewhere
out
in
there.
that
She's in L.A.
perimeter
That's enough. We don't want to give it away.
Vicinity.
Keep
yeah.
her privacy as well.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
she's totally independent girl.
Yeah.
Very independent girl. Yeah.
I see some. I think Instagram. I don't know if I follow her. I follow you, or one of.
Yeah.
I know I follow you, but I don't know if I see her stuff every once in a while. And I'm like, yeah, impressive.
Yeah.
I remember she was an amazing dancer. That's what I
Yeah, she
remember.
still is. She still is. She can
Did you dance as well?
a little. My sister and I think I went to class with my older sister, and she didn't want to stay, and I was like, all right, I came for you, but I did like
Right.
tap, and then I tried to hook back into it later. This is in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So it's
How'd
very.
you get rid of the accent, by the way?
Oh, I think it's still there. Wasn't it? It shouldn't be.
I didn't hear it.
Really
I didn't hear
shouldn't
it.
be.
No,
I
you
thought
sound
I thought
you
were
sound very
teasing me.
educated, but you don't sound that you don't have that.
That Midwest.
Because Wisconsin is almost like it gets a little Canadian.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
take a shower, going to, it's like that. But I think it comes
Yens, you
in.
say like Yens, and what's the other one out there? The Canadian.
People will think I'm from New York
Yeah.
before.
Well, you're
no-
very stylish too, so
Before.
you kind of fit New York or San Francisco or one of
Maybe.
those.
I used
or
to.
LA.
I
mean,
lived
LA
in.
has style too.
I lived in New York for a while. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Where'd you live in New York when you were there?
Went to NYU, so I lived at 14th and University.
Hmm.
Moved up to 85th and Columbus. Moved up to 121st
Oh, you went up in the nosebleed section.
at Claremont Riverside.
Oh yeah, that's not too bad.
And then 181st
Oh, wow.
and Bennett, which is Washington Heights.
Oh, yeah, Washington
That's
Heights.
where Winnie was born.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
right
you lived
by
up
the
there.
yeah, right by the the Washington. Was it Washington Bridge? I made my way into Fort Lee
Not
when
the
I was pregnant.
GW,
Isn't
the GWB, or
Isn't that it?
that's up
It's-
pretty.
I thought-
Yeah,
I
well,
think it's
yeah.
up right there.
Yeah,
I think it's right there.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what street. I remember going
It's
over that bridge
The
many
cloisters.
Yeah.
It's that whole area.
Mhm.
It's a
times.
beautiful.
That's not too bad. I mean, it can be rough depending on what block you live on, but
Oh no! I mean, it was a beautiful. It was very family oriented neighborhood.
sort of like brownstones up there, or what were they? Yeah. Or
Yeah,
not
yeah. Our apartment was very like spread out, lofty. But when we
Okay.
get up there, we had so much more space.
Yeah.
We had so much more space, but a lot of bagel shops and little delis and
Yeah,
then
it's more family then. That's
yeah,
that's good.
at that point, and then the subway station was above ground.
Oh, wow.
So at that point, you're like above
Oh, you're
ground.
up there, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But I was pregnant when we moved up there. So
I didn't even know you went to NYU. That's cool.
yeah, I did. I didn't finish. I'll confide. I was like an anxious college student. I'd already been to UWM. I'd lived in Atlanta. I lived briefly here. I had all these little like pop arounds.
So you just like enrolling in schools and then moving on.
And then leaving and then being like
became a habit.
Yeah.
Well, I might as well go to New York. I haven't tried that one.
Well, no, but that was Tisch School of the Arts. I had to audition. That was more of a commitment.
Were you already acting by then, or did you start as a model or acting? What was your?
I whatever acting was in Milwaukee and a little bit of Chicago. It was like commercials and some print work.
So you started young. You knew this is what you were going to do.
I think so. Yeah,
that was your goal.
I did. What'd
your parents think? When
my dad did not want to pay for college if I was going to study that.
They don't understand that.
No, he's
right?
like, no, I'm not. Why would I do that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went, all right. I guess I'm on my own. But
I wonder if that's because the success rate of most people that go through college become an actress or an actor.
I don't know that he was
2%,
maybe, and I don't know that he was so wrong because in the end, look, I think there's a lot of great training out there, but I was just anxious, and I knew we'd all end up on the same call sheets eventually. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to get out. I just wanted to get out.
Did New York teach you a lot? Was that good for you?
I think New York was great for me. I feel like I lived there kind of twice. I was a nanny, and then when I came back, I was,
pregnant.
No. Specifically got pregnant on the Upper West Side. No.
I know, but you said you were pregnant when you were there.
No, but yeah, that was eventual. But I
lived there too. I used to live 81st and 2nd. Yeah.
When?
1989 to 90.
Well, that's.
I moved out here from there.
I was there.
Were you there then?
I worked at Pasta and Dreams on 90. I think it was 91st and 3rd, and then I also worked on the one on First Avenue. Do you remember Pasta and Dreams?
I'd have to go back. I know that area.
So that was kind of in your neighborhood. I had a bike.
So I was right around the corner from Dorian's. Remember Dorian's?
Yes.
The preppy murder place.
Yes.
I was right around the corner from that. And then I would go to like 70s. There was a cafe restaurant thing, 72nd and like First that I go to a lot. But I worked downtown. I worked on 23rd in Madison. I worked at Live Bait. Do you remember Live Bait? It was a famous restaurant which owned by two supermodels. So it was down in that district. So I worked there, and then I was modeling and doing whatever there and studying. I started studying Circle and Square with Bill Hickey.
Wow. Yeah,
that was fancy, right? That's
no. But that was one of the schools Tisch did.
That was the big one. Yeah.
That was one of them. I did Stella Adler.
Yeah, Stella Adler, the Actor Studio,
Neighborhood Playhouse. My husband
Playhouse.
did Neighborhood Playhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was kind of some of my first classes. I studied with this other guy who was independent, who happened to be a friend of my family's growing up from Kansas, and he was teaching. His name was Jim Jenkins, I think, and he was up on his Upper West Side. And I studied with him for a brief time, but that was my beginning, really.
Yeah, no, I think it was. I studied a little bit in Chicago, a little bit Atlanta. I'd been to Stella Adler in L.A.
Yeah, it's not the same, right? Not
no, Stella was out here.
Oh, she was then. Okay.
Oh, okay. It was like a summer program. Met one of my best friends. He was a writer. He was starting a murder mystery company that I eventually became almost like a I don't know what I was. I was like his marketing, sales, and lead actor.
Oh, wow.
It was all improv and corporate. We just went out and did stuff. I
remember like Lee Strasberg was a big deal out here. So I remember coming out here. I didn't study there, but I remember that was a big thing out here.
And Stella was like the opposite of Lee.
I studied Meisner. I studied with a lady out here who was Sandy's protege from New York. And Janet Alhante, I don't know if you remember her.
No, but isn't that the Playhouse? Isn't that Neighborhood Playhouse?
That is too, yeah.
Right?
But that was, who was that started by? I can't remember. It wasn't Meisner himself. I think somebody.
My husband would know. But New York is a really good place to be.
Great education.
Just to be in that city is an education.
When you're young, and it's like I felt like I always talk about it. Like I felt like I went to. It was like obviously after high school, so it was after the military for me. But I was so naive. It was like high school for me all over again. So it was this really quick education into life and into survival. And I was a small town boy. I did really well in New York, except I didn't like the city. I mean, I didn't like the confinement.
You didn't. I love that.
Because I needed nature. I needed out.
Yeah.
I grew up with it, so I was like, I got to move to LA. So I came to LA to read for a film and loved it. And then I went back and packed up and came back 2 months later and never left.
Yeah. I kind of miss New York. I get to go. I do. I'm involved in a lot of commercial committees at our union, and I've done commercial negotiation contracts, and you go to New York for weeks on end to commit to that. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know you did that. But.
It's like it's happened twice. I've done 2016, 2019, and it's a period of time in spring. So
it's a good time to go.
Well, it's February. I shouldn't say spring. It's like becoming spring. It's like mid-February to
cold.
April.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it can be, there's all kinds
frigid.
of weather.
Yeah.
But it's that damn city that is just like ignites you. Because we don't have that here. We don't have that
energy.
You don't interface with people.
Because you have to. And it's so ethnically diverse. It's like it's that's why I say it's such an education. It just throws you into the. I took Nancy back in May of this year. We went back for like 5 days in New York, her first time in New York, and it was great to be back. I hadn't been back to the city for 5 years, so it was wonderful.
Oh, there's nothing like it. There is nothing. It was just nothing.
I went back to my old stomping grounds, and and I'm like, I mean, I had a lot of them because I lived in a couple of different places there, but it was just the energy is still there. It's wonderful.
I could live there. I could live there now.
I couldn't live there again, but
I could. I feel like.
But wouldn't you miss the? Well,
what you want me to say?
Would you miss the traffic?
I miss the 405.
Would you miss the? No, miss driving to. I used to love. You hop on the subway and go to auditions there because I was with Buchwald there and a great agent, and so I didn't work a lot. That's the only thing. My career wasn't good there.
Mine either, but that was very early for us. I think,
so
I was like trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I never did. I'm like, I think I booked like one job there. I booked a lot of modeling stuff, but it didn't pay a lot. I mean, it paid like $500, $1,000, $2,000, whatever.
I might have done some odd commercial print stuff. Print in Milwaukee.
But there's so many. But I always said this: like the difference between New York and LA to me, people in New York want to help you. Like it's a community.
Do.
It's a community. It's like it seems like when you're doing something, everybody gets on board with you and they want to help you. Out here, it's kind of like say, "Hey, Kelly, let's meet up next week and we'll go over that script."
Sure, yeah.
They never show up.
Yeah.
Like nobody's supportive out here. It's very selfish out here.
Yes, I think you need each other there. I would never. One of the things I didn't do was hook up to those apps. Like you can do an app that'll tell you how to get to anywhere.
Oh yeah, I didn't think
and
about
I was
that.
like, you know what?
I like to discover it.
I just need to know. Get me to the first train.
Yeah.
And then I would
you can eyeball the map or
the
whatever.
Map, and then as soon as you lean into a map, 5 people want to know, do you need any help? Where are you going? And suddenly you've got like a community of people.
Well, you look like a tourist anyway, right?
I don't know. Maybe.
Did you have a camera around your neck?
No. I think I kind of was like.
Did you have the fanny pack?
No. I had a lot of layers. I don't know.
You could always tell the tourists, though. It's funny, like the fanny packs or the whatever, the camera.
No, I think I seem like, I think I know how to be that winter New Yorker. You know what I mean?
You look like, you could dress like New York for sure.
Yeah, I love that. Easily. I love the coats.
Yeah, I do miss the weather. I don't miss the freezing cold. I was there during 2 harsh winters. I lived there twice in winter. And,
that can be bad. Winnie lived at, I don't know, she subletted from somebody who was on Australia's So You Think You Can Dance or something.
Oh, right. So she went it.
At 88th and Central Park West.
Well, that's nice.
Nice. That's
a beautiful area.
Oh, we would visit.
Overlooking the park? Or?
Oh, yeah, almost. Yeah. It was right
at the end.
At the end. But, I mean, bad weather. Like her winter that year. I think
you can't go outside.
Wasn't there like hurricane? Didn't Hurricane Sandy hit?
Or something, yeah.
Didn't something bad hit New York City?
So nasty, yeah.
Oh, it was
It
like
rained forever.
She went, no, I don't think I can do this.
No, I remember the wind. You'd come around the corner and it would blow your face off, basically. Your hair would be.
Yeah, you're like,
you can't wear a hat. You can't. Your scarf would be up in your face, and I'm like, it doesn't matter how many layers you had on. You were still freaking cold. Everybody would huddle into the local Starbucks or whatever just to get warmer. Go around the corner to where the heaters were coming out of the. Or stand over the grates of the subway. Yeah,
I know.
There's certain ways to get warm.
I do remember there was a point where I was like, wait, when is the last time I've seen the moon? Like I just would forget to look up to the sky.
Oh, that's true.
I remember that hit me. That I was like, wait a second.
It's so bright. You can't,
we have a sky. Why aren't I looking up at it?
Yeah.
I don't know. But you've got Central Park.
Yeah,
so it's like
that's
you don't
true.
Have nature.
I mean, I'd love that, but you have to make the trek to get there. You know, if you don't live near it. So.
And I think the 2 times that I've been for.
And then you have all the little parks. I mean, Union Square was always fun to go to.
Yeah, which I lived nearby.
Yeah.
Washington Square Park, but I think being back to do that work and then have a little bit of spare time here and there, I appreciated the city in a way. I don't think you can when you live there.
Yeah.
Because when you live there, you're on your own routine.
It's a rush,
and you're just kind of like, you do have to really work hard.
Yeah.
Not that you don't have to work hard here. I think you have to work hard anywhere.
But the energy there that you keep going, like you work 20 hours a day, and you sleep 4 hours a day. At least that's what it seemed like when I was there. It'd be like, okay, you work till 2 a.m. and you get up and you go to an audition at 9 or 10 or 8 or whatever, and then you go back to work that evening and you're going around or whatever. Yeah, I was an oyster shucker. I never waited tables ever in my life.
Oh yeah.
I can't carry shit, so I would have dropped it.
It's not for everybody.
No,
it's not for everybody.
I'm clumsy.
But it is. It's work just to get out the door.
Yeah.
So I think
then to keep it, man, I was paying back in I was paying $850 for a studio about the size of this room.
Oh, you don't know what I paid?
Small.
I paid $300, not quite the size of this room, and I had a loft, and then I got smart and I moved a friend in, so she lived below me.
Paid $300,
and we paid $150 each.
Oh my gosh.
At 85th and Columbus.
That was 85th and Columbus.
In that beautiful neighborhood, but it was
How did you get that?
It was like a railroad style. You know, when you walk in and like all the rooms go, there were 6 rooms.
Yeah.
So my room was $300, and then I had a friend who needed a place, and I thought, well, you can stay with me, just give me $150.
What?
No, I kid
it's a little
you
crowded,
not.
but yeah.
I kid you not.
I ended up getting a roommate later, about 6 months in living there. My buddy from the Navy moved in, and it was so tiny because we had a little couch, and there was I want to say like a loft, or it was a storage thing above the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I built a ladder to go up, and I made a bed up there, and it was it's about this much.
Right,
room,
you're like
so you
laying
had to crawl in and roll over.
Yeah.
But I could sleep up there.
Yeah.
So it gave me a little privacy. Like I could go up there and sleep. And
those were the days.
I moved to the Navy right out of I moved to New York right out of the Navy, and I left like the day I got a discharge. And I had this is kind of funny story, because I had a girlfriend that we were writing back and more like pen pals. And I had seen her a few times. We dated for 6-8 months or whatever. And she's like, oh, when you get out of the Navy, we'll get a place together when you come to New York. So I get out, and I show up her doorstep in New York City with my full sea bag, everything I own in my bag, and she's with somebody else.
Oh, did you?
But because I had
some of those letters.
Yeah, I know. And she did say, you didn't get my Dear John letter? And I go, no, because I was at sea. I was in the middle of the ocean. I was in the middle of off the coast of Gibraltar, and near Italy, and I was like, no, I didn't get anything. And she goes, oh, well, I wrote you, and because there's no cell phones or anything at the time, so
Josh,
John. I'm going, well, I have no place to stay tonight. Can I at least sleep on your couch?
Wow.
And she goes, okay, let me check. Can you come back in like 4 hours or whatever? And I did, and went back, and I dropped my sea bag. Now I'm carrying my sea bag around, and it weighs like 100 pounds.
Wow.
It's like a big backpack.
Wow.
So I'm walking around New York, and I start calling, like trying to find a place to live. The next day, because I didn't know where to go the next day other than like hotel. And I'm like, the next day, I found a place. So I had to find a place within like one day.
That's amazing.
And I found this place, and it was 81st and 2nd. I'm like, it was a bottom, it was a first floor, little tiny space in the back, which I loved it. It was quiet and private. And I was like, I'm in.
Wow. I bet sea bags have wheels now. Would you
I don't think they do. I see
Really?
pictures in the Navy. They're still look the same. There's certain things. There's certain things that don't change. The wool blankets are real wool, and they itch your skin. They're not comfortable.
Did you get a sheet?
There's something about it. Well,
sheet?
yeah, you try to.
Yeah.
But I always brought in my own. I always like try to stuff my own blanket or something in there. But you don't have a lot of room. I mean, you're living in a Foot Locker and you get one little container. Yeah. And and trying to be stylish and trying to be cool. And you don't have. I didn't have room for hats. That's for damn sure. So
that'll make you disciplined.
Speaking of style, you're like the stylist. What is this thing you got going on?
Oh, yeah. I do not have my own. I'll be a fact checker. So I don't have my own line of clothing.
Well, you will have. That's my prediction.
I have a little side hustle brewing that is potential, but I have this little style catalyst thing I do.
Okay.
And I have an Instagram page, and I shop for people, and I kind of curate wardrobes and put outfits together, and just get people more, comfortable and organized in their own looks.
Men and women, or just women?
Oh yeah, men and women.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you got for me?
Well, you got to give me a second. You got to fill up I've got to get some information about you. I need your sizes.
We'll have to do that. We'll have to do this.
I have to go shopping for you.
I would love that. I want to try that. I would love that. Is it mostly like vintage stuff or new? How does that work?
It's
It's everything.
It's hard to do vintage because I have to be able to bring things to you that I know I can return, and vintage usually can't.
Oh, okay.
So I have some boutiques that I will take things out from and bring things back, and then I do a lot of shopping. I really pride myself on being able to find a very good deal, and
you're very stylish. You always have been.
Thank you. I've always, since my Milwaukee days, my sisters and I remember
you like
on a
to play
TJ,
dress up kind of thing.
Well, yes, and my sister, who's a photographer, we'd go to this little weird little forest and bring clothes and a blanket, and she'd bring her camera, and I would just change. I don't even know. We didn't know what we were doing.
You were
just like, just take a picture of this outfit. Now take a picture of this outfit.
Oh my gosh, really? I mean? That was the thing.
Yeah, it was like, why?
So this is like meant to be.
Who knows? Yeah. And
what do you call it? What is it called?
It's Style Catalyst.
And what's the Instagram?
Kelly Style Catalyst.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, for them, not for me.
Yeah. Well, you never know. It might be.
Well, it might be. I already follow you, so I know.
I get you.
I know what it is.
Yes, you know what it is.
Silly. I follow you. I always comment like, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah.
I don't always comment, but I do comment.
No, it's something. I like helping people feel more comfortable in themselves in space and time. Is what I say. Like, you should just feel good and not think about it, or not be self-conscious, or
right. So you're making people feel better and making them more style. I swear, guys need more help than women for the most part.
Yeah, you'd think. I mean, a lot of people are either allergic to shopping, like just cannot stand shopping themselves, and they just get stuck, like, I don't know what to wear, or people have body issues. That's another thing you find out.
I would say that.
So it's or they'll go, "Oh, I'll call you when I lose 40 pounds," and it's like, no, I don't.
Do it now.
Let's start with your own wardrobe now, and
you can always change it,
supplement it or something, or
and it might inspire them to lose weight, or it might inspire them to get in shape or whatever too.
Sure.
If they know, well, hey, I look good in this, but if I were 10 pounds lighter or whatever, right? Wouldn't that?
Yes,
wouldn't
and
that help?
I think sometimes people just need to. Bodies are very. No, look, bodies are so different, and it's not like everybody's meant to be a certain size.
Right.
Everybody's body just behaves differently.
That's
Everybody's
true.
Metabolism and everything. So sometimes it's just about accepting certain things, or being able to know how to dress around the things the thing that's bothering you the most.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So that you don't feel like, oh my God, my stomach or my hips are bothering me, my thighs are bothering me.
Excuse me. Yeah.
So I can kind of help with that too.
That's great.
Yeah, I like it.
I like your style.
Like it.
I've always
Thank
liked your
you.
style. I was thinking we worked together, I want to say 1997.
Yeah.
Like that
Okay, so remember, it was a house in Pasadena. Okay,
yeah. And I lived in Pasadena.
I know exactly what it was.
What was
okay,
it?
so
was it Folger? No.
No. I'm going to make you guess.
Okay.
Okay, so we had a house. We had a house in Pasadena.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like
that's where we shot a lot in Pasadena. Remember that?
Yeah,
all those. Yeah, go ahead.
these great neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Okay, this will make it come back to you. So the windows had all that frost, the Christmas frost.
Okay.
It was August. It was brutal. I remember wearing pantyhose. I remember that outfit that I wore.
Right.
And you can't run air conditioning when you're shooting.
Right.
We were dying, and it was supposed to be Christmas. So
it was.
Do you remember? It was a good one.
Sears?
No, it was a holiday garnish. It was a food item.
Oh, Cool Whip.
Oh,
yeah,
yes,
I remember it now.
Yes.
Yeah, the dollop thing.
Yes.
The dollop of Cool Whip.
Yes.
Holy crap.
And
we had kids or something.
We had like a family,
we had like family.
and it was a party. Yeah.
Totally remember that.
Yeah. I think that's
we
how
were
we
pretend
met.
husband and wife, I think. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's funny because I remember we connected and I'm like, oh, you're like my new friend.
Yes.
And we've been friends ever since. So that something connected there. That was cool. Cool Whip, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it only ran through Christmas, I think, right? Or did they brought it back the next year?
I actually think they brought it back. I think we got lucky.
Yeah, I think
we got
they did bring it back the next year, and we made some money on that.
Yeah, those
were the good days.
Those were the
man.
days. Yeah.
Every commercial we used to book back in those days, like, oh, there's $50,000.
Yeah.
Boom,
Yeah.
Be like,
there's still.
Now you go, oh, there's a holding fee.
Well, listen, I think. There's still, it's getting better. I think it's, it's important to we talked a little bit about this, but I think it's really important for actors to just kind of band together and kind of keep the faith, because those jobs they still exist.
Yeah, I have
really
a good
do.
one running. I have a good product, it's pharmaceutical, and it's been one, I've been lucky. It's been a great one this year, but you never know.
Yeah,
it's like they're not as often as they used to be. As like you and I used to. I mean, I would book like 10 a year, and I'm sure you book like 20 a year.
No, not exactly, but
you were doing a lot. And we used to just we'd have 5 auditions a day. Remember that?
Yeah.
It'd be like, that was our life.
Yeah. And
now we have other things going on because we have time to do that.
No, I know.
It was different.
It's a world, but apparently. So there was a recent meeting that's we brought a new contract back, and I think union work is up like 20%.
Good.
And I think it's just about keeping the faith and holding firm, and really I just believe like doing union work and not just avoiding temptation, because it's just you don't want to. It'll race us to the bottom.
Sell it out. Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
It's important. It's very
do agree
important.
with that.
It's important to let. I teach, so I have a class.
Yeah,
which
tell me about that,
because
I've seen it. I haven't been to your class, but I would like to come and sit in. Yeah,
you should come.
You and Sid, right?
Sid, Sid Stripmatter and I. Sid's a best friend, and we've been teaching for almost 5 years. We teach at Camera Left, which is ASG Casting's school, Camera Left Stage Right, that they formed. I think I've coached for years. I used to run a little commercial circle in my living room.
I knew that. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think Sid got asked to teach, and I was going to run like marketing or something. And then she's like, "Why aren't we doing this together?" So it
works out.
Yeah, we became like we co-teach. So we just finished our last class of the year, and somebody in class said, "You guys are like two aunties, like two like fairy godmothers." That's what they called us. And there's a lot of energy. There's a lot of Sid and I bring a lot of our experience, just our in the trenches experience. So we always relate it to what's really happening,
right?
Because we're still
you're still in it. You're still doing it, and we all know that we've been in it for. I've been in it for 30 years. You've been in it for close to the same, I'm sure.
Yes.
But it's like it's changed, and and you can't teach unless you're doing it. I believe. Yeah. I taught for several years too, and I used to say, most of the coaches out there, or a lot of the coaches out there, and this is where I'm saying kudos to you. A lot of the coaches were never really in the business. They just became coaches. So when they talk about casting directors and stuff like that, they don't really know, in my opinion. So to learn from somebody who's doing it and been very successful at it and still doing it, I think that's the best way to learn. That's the people to learn from.
I think that's the perspective I think that we offer, because we're not behind the camera, and there is great there's a lot to learn from
yeah.
people behind the camera, and there's from I mean, to me, a session runner. Did you run sessions?
I did.
Well, I think session runners.
That was a big education for me.
Oh well,
it was. I think everybody should do it if you're an actor.
I
if you can.
bet. I wish I could do it. I
Yeah.
think session runners are gods, though. Actors need to know, like, that's the person. They're sort of like your
You
connection.
need to connect to that one, yeah.
And know what, and respect them, and they're under such time constraints and God knows what to deliver what the director wants, what the casting director wants, and those people deserve a lot of respect in my book.
And I love it because a lot of them go, end up being directors and stuff. A lot of them, carry on their career.
And a lot are already actors.
Exactly.
So they have both. They can
know
deliver
yeah.
both. And I guess what Sid and I pride ourselves on is the fact that we do reinvent ourselves. We've made our way through this business as it changes.
Yeah, we had some tough times with the strikes and the stuff.
Sure,
yeah,
and just even like what's sort of hip at the moment, or what it's like very real people, or how do you reinvent yourself for these moments, or as you change categories. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you have to.
That was a big. I remember that
out.
getting older, and I'm like, I don't know, because I used to color my hair a lot for years because I wasn't gray. As soon as I turned gray, I started working a lot more.
I've heard a lot of guys say that, and
Yeah.
then there's women who say that. There's a lot of women who have gone gray in this to stand out, to embrace it. My husband wants me to go gray. I'm like, one of these days.
Yeah, one of these days. I'm like, well, I kind of feel like I'm not quite old enough to be gray, like I'm now becoming almost full gray, but
my husband's full gray too. I think it's good, and I think
it works, and I sometimes look at myself, I'm like, I wish I had more color in my beard. That's the only thing I wish I had more of. But you have to, and what you said about, you got to embrace the change.
Yeah.
And you got to embrace that who you are, and just be natural. Again, it's like that's part of it. That's been the hardest thing for, I think, a lot of actors, and the reason most people quit is when they stop working, they don't know what to do. And then they go, oh, well, maybe it's cutting your hair, or maybe there's some simple change. But if you're just being yourself, I mean, truly.
That authenticity, I think, reads.
It does. Because the camera knows it, or, this one of my guru acting coaches used to say, if you believe it, the audience knows it. Oh. And I love that, because if you're truly, which I think, if you're truly comfortable with yourself, so I'm not coaching here, but I would say, go, work on yourself when you're on your downtime, right?
Oh,
and
major.
Be yourself.
Well, I think really commercially that's huge, because I think it's still acting. It's still a lot of like the real things that you learn in an acting class still apply. That people feel like commercials are such that
there's no acting involved,
another
or whatever.
world,
Yeah.
or it's just like, oh, it's a look.
It's a look.
thing.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, all the beats, all the things you're required to do, and when you have to say things, sometimes. Not always, but sometimes you're selling something.
You have to tell a story in like 30 seconds.
Well, that's right.
That's a tough one.
Too.
That's just part of it.
That too. And I think it's very important to be yourself. And I think it's the hardest thing in the world is to be yourself and know yourself. And I think that's a life.
And be comfortable on camera with that, because that's what I learned running camera. I'd watch people come in and be like callbacks. And I'd go and I'd see the people, their favorites on the board or whatever, behind the camera. And then the people would come in and callbacks for some people. When there's a room full of people for the callback, it makes the actors really nervous.
Oh, God, I know. See, this is all like mindset stuff to me.
It's like, they're there for you. They're there to, they want you to be good. They want you, you're there for a reason. Even though we call it an all back, sometimes there's a lot of people back on a callback. Yeah. It doesn't matter. You still have to, the more grounded and the more present you are, the more you're going to work.
Well, and the truth is, it's like that psych out. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? When people have the closer you get, I think, to the potential of what that booking is like
we start thinking about the money. I mean, we all do it. Like, right? Oh my God, this is a big one. I can buy a car. I can buy it.
Yeah. It's like my son, who's like, he's done commercials, and he's like, well, maybe if I did commercials again, I could buy a better car or something.
You think about it, but you can't go in with that mentality. In my opinion.
He probably could, and it'll be fine.
Yeah. If you're younger, you can
get away with it.
Disappointment's fine.
Yeah, but I think the the truth is you can look at other people in the room and think, I know that person. I know how talented that person is, or I've seen their work, but you still can't be that person, and nobody else can be you.
No, I agree.
So that's all you can do is your thing, and divorce yourself from all of that like mind clutter and chatter that is just going to get in your way, because just go in and do your thing and meet the people and then leave.
Again, just be yourself. Yeah.
Well, like you said earlier, like the times that things are slow, it's like we all have opportunities to work on ourselves or build other interests or other things that we like. Your real life is more important than your booking ratio at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Yeah, but people get so caught up in the game where they just focus on that. We got about 5 minutes left, so
that goes fast, so fast.
I know. We got 50 minutes, so
okay,
yeah,
all right.
It's fast, right?
I know. Now that you're saying that, I'm like, well, what do we talk about now?
Oh my gosh! Well, this show's about you, so let's promote you. Let's talk about you. What else do you have coming up? So you're starting new classes in January.
Oh yes, so we have a new class.
Do you have a website or a thing that they go to sign up?
So I think. Oh gosh, it's just bad. I think it's bookio.com. I always post it on my Facebook and I always post it on Instagram.
Well, they can go to you post you Instagram on a lot, right?
Yeah.
About
so by the way, good that you're bringing up a good point. Instagram is Keli Belly 123, and it's Keli like deli. It's just one of each. Keli.
Right.
So okay. Keli Beli. My son made it for me. Keli Belly 123 is where I promote more acting stuff. Kelly Style Catalyst is more style stuff.
Okay. Cool.
And yes, so we have a class coming up, and and then I've got a little, venture. I may be doing some crowdfunding soon.
What?
What
are you doing with that?
Well, I'm potentially launching a line of shoes, inspired by my grandparents.
Oh wow!
My grandfather was a shoemaker. He had Daniels shoes. His name was Albert. Everybody called him Danny. And my grandmother was Virginia or Ginny. So. We'll see. Baby steps.
That's awesome.
It's
pretty bold, though.
It's very bold. It's unknown territory. Unknown territory.
I'm sure it'll do well. You always rise.
I'm a cat. Land on my feet.
You always do. I mean, but there's something about you, and I've known this forever. It's like everything you do is meaningful, it seems like, and everything you do is very successful.
Well, listen, a friend of mine said this to me last night, and I thought this was I hope I get it right now. He said, I think I'm sort of an eternal optimist to probably to a fault.
Yeah,
I think it's almost to a fault, but he said to me, and my friend is not. It's another friend I went to high school with. He's like my Midwest bestie. And he said, I think optimism, the most courageous thing we can do is face the future with optimism. I'm messing it up. He said it better than that, but I really like that.
Well, but I was going to say, you've always been positive. Like, I've never seen you like, never been a negative person. I don't think
I get that from my mom.
Ever heard a negative thing? Is your mom out there? Let's say
my
hi
mom,
to Mom.
She might be. She called to figure out how she could.
Yeah.
Hi,
Mom.
Yeah,
hi,
Mom. Arlena.
Back in Wisconsin.
And Dawn.
Wisconsin.
Yeah. Yeah, they're in Kohler, where they make Kohler faucets and toilets.
Oh,
Beautiful
wow.
little town. Yeah. Yeah, but my mom is so optimistic. So I think I get that from her, because you live a better life, I think.
Oh, I agree. It's like
do.
raised vibration, and so, it's like it's a happier place.
Yeah.
I had to find that. I didn't have that growing up.
Yeah.
But I always had it in my soul. There was always I was always a happy kid, regardless of all the trauma and the BS that was around me. I was always a happy kid. Like, everybody always came to me because I made everybody happy. I made everybody smile. That was just my nature.
You connected back to that. I connect the dots backwards.
I did.
You have to go back to who
I had to go. Well, that's
essence.
what unlocking the past to live your future. That's exactly what it is. You have to go back, reprogram it, allow it to be.
We are full circle.
And accept it. Yeah.
We are full circle.
Yeah. So it was good.
Love it.
So I'm happy.
You're an example.
I'm good with me. let's just keep going.
Yeah, we got to keep going.
It's almost like it feels like it's just beginning. You're like,
I know, right?
When I did the show, I had no idea what I was doing or what I was going to do. When I started calling people, and it's fun. It's just fun. I love this. I love the one-on-one. I love the communication, and that's what it's about for me.
I like podcasts. I'm a little bit of a podcast junkie.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, because I think you can learn a lot. And business-wise, I'm sort of learning from podcasts from people who or makers or have started businesses, entrepreneurial kinds of
you
things.
become an influencer too. You know,
Sure,
you can,
sure. There are a lot of influencers to learn from. So
yeah, so it's
never
a
stop
great
learning.
It's a great thing.
Yeah.
Well, I want to tell you, it's awesome catching up with you. This has been really fun.
Flew by.
It does fly by, and
Wow.
we talk pretty fast
We
too.
do.
It
We
was
do.
it was a good energy.
we-
You're great. You're always great to be around. Always great energy. I wish
you,
we
Josh.
were working more together because
Well, you never know.
that means
Let's
we'd
just
be
keep
working
the faith,
more.
Keep the faith.
But
Keep the jobs coming.
We have to bring back
Stand
our old.
strong.
Yeah, we'll have to get back in the.
Bring that Cool Whip back.
Bring that cool. There's so many.
Renegotiate.
There's so many I want to bring back. I'm
Wouldn't
like,
it be fun?
When they bring
I
that
wish
back?
they would do like a nostalgic period. Of,
they did that for a few years
Geico?
back. They did it. Well,
Geico
Geico
did
did
it,
it,
yeah.
and there was a couple of. I wish I would have had a Geico,
Me
but
too.
I never
not
did.
too
You
late.
either? I
no,
never had
it's
a
not
Geico.
too late. It's
Yeah,
not too late.
right. Geico. Let's go. Geico, Progressive, and
Yeah.
one of those, or State Farm. Those are all good. I need an
Union
insurance.
strong. Bring those jobs.
I need
Yes.
an insurance. I'm putting it out there. So
All right.
anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for
You're
being here.
welcome.
It was a lot of fun. Hey, we'll see you next week. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.
It was really great. Great day. Be safe. Stay warm out there if you're in the cold country. If you're
Bundle
watching
up.
us. What's that?
Bundle up.
Yeah, bundle up. It's Colorado's getting. You heard about the big storm, right?
Well, I think my sister's on her way to New York to see her son in the city.
Oh,
and
wow.
I think there
That's
might be
gonna
a
be
storm.
big
My mom's
cold.
already had so much snow.
Yeah, it's going to be cold out there.
Everybody be safe. Get
But
out
anyway,
your shovels.
we're out of here. We'll see you next week. I'm So Vain. Get the book. It's fun to read. It'll change your life. The Process Code, Unlocking Your Past to Live Your Future. I'm So Vain. I'm Josh Carmichael. Keli Daniels. We'll see ya.
Bye, guys. Peace.
You're listening to I'm So Vain with Josh Carmichael, only on LA Talk Radio.